And welcome back to Capitol Tonight. In less than a month, the Department of Environmental Conservation will hold the first of 4 public hearings on the controversial natural gas technique that is known as hydrofracking. A final report recommending regulations of the industry for sometime in December, we expect. But some communities across the state are now moving to preempt the DEC's expected green light for fracking, approving local bans on drilling and also on the storage of waste fluids. Today, the Syracuse Common Council became the latest to take action. My next guest sponsored the legislation. It passed unanimously. She is Common Council Majority Leader Kathleen Joy. Thank you very much, Leader, for making time for us. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for having me on.
So this is, or has been characterized as largely symbolic because we expect that the state's regulations could supersede local regulations, although it seems like that might be a little bit of a legal battle. And also, you guys are already protected, I thought, in the Skinny Atlas watershed.
Well, that's right, the Skinny Atlas watershed, but that is not the city of Syracuse. So we took the proactive measure now to ban hydrofracking in the city itself.
And also the banning of the storage of fracking fluids on city-owned property outside city limits, is that correct?
Yes, banning any of the fracking fluid in the city, but also controlling any properties that the city may own outside of the city of Syracuse, for our airport, for example.
Oh, I see. And so, is there actually Marcellus shale underneath the city bedrock, if you will? My understanding is it might be Utica shale, which is actually a little bit deeper. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. It's Utica shale. But again, that's why we wanted to be proactive. We also don't know if there are any leases in the city of Syracuse at this time. Rather than having the industry be invested here in the community, we wanted to take the first step in that process using our municipal home rule law and banning the hydrofracking and the storage.
Yeah, could you actually do urban hydrofracking? This is something that I think has been portrayed as more of a rural sort of an undertaking. I mean, I can't imagine, like, next to Syracuse University that they would set up a drill, for example. I mean, is this really a threat?
Well, we hope it's not a threat. But again, we wanted to think not just in terms of today, but for generations going forward. Technologies may change. There may be large tracts of land that could be developed, and we just wanted to take that step today to say, no, we're not going to allow hydrofracking or the storage of the frac fluids in the city today.
What kind of legal counsel have you gotten? I know you are an attorney, but I know that there has been a suggestion that if in fact these local bans, and there are a number of them now, you guys are hardly alone, and it seems like every week or so one is popping up, and you have county legislatures, you have common councils like yourself, you have all sorts of things that are going on. But the state seems to say, well, that's nice, but we're the state and we supersede all of you.
Well, as far as regulations are concerned, that may be so. But municipalities have the ability to regulate time, place, manner, using what they call police powers. We can do that in the city of Syracuse just like other municipalities can. When you talk about protecting the environment, the citizenry, our roadways, air quality, that all falls within the purview of a local municipality.
Are you prepared to litigate this, which actually could end up being pricey at the local level?
Well, we could. We hope that that's not going to happen. Curiously, when we were having our public meetings and public hearings, there was only one individual, he was a professor from the Syracuse University, that raised some questions that were pro-hydrofracking or drilling. There had been no other opposition that came forward, so I think it would be hard-pressed for anybody to come forward and challenge a suit when they didn't make their comments known in the first place.
No, but we do see, I believe in Middlefield in the Otsego area, they had already had one of these local bans, and there's a farmer who had already signed a gas drilling lease with a Canadian company and said, hey, you guys are infringing on my property rights, the right to do what I will with my own land. Now, you didn't hear, however, any opposition from anybody who might already have signed a drilling lease when you had these hearings prior to the vote?
That's correct, and we wanted to make sure that the public had an opportunity to voice their concerns and that the counselors could ask questions, and we really did not have anyone there that was opposed to what we were doing in the city.
But just generally speaking on fracking as a topic, are you in favor of a statewide ban? Is that something that you would support if in fact it was possible to have such a thing?
Well, personally, I would, on the high volume hydrofracking. Vertical drilling has been around for a long time.
Right, right.
This is a new technology, and it's something that we need to think long and hard about as to whether or not we would want that in our state.
Well, I think that the administration has suggested, although again the DEC hasn't made any decisions yet, that this could actually bring in quite a bit of economic development, which is something particularly in upstate that we need, isn't it?
Well, you always have to balance that. We've taken great strides in protecting Onondaga Lake, which is where the city of Syracuse is located. Spent over 20 years trying to clean up that lake. It was one of the most polluted in the world, and it got that way because we allowed local industries to come in. And we can't trade off our health and safety of our citizens for this potential for economic development.
You know, we have had a statement from IOGA, which is the industry association, and basically it says, obviously they don't support what it is that you've done today, but they sort of alleging that the council is not taking into account the fact that the industry believes that this can be done safely and that the DEC actually will have sufficient regulation to ensure that that is the case. Do you not believe that the state could effectively regulate hydrofracking such that it would protect the residents of Syracuse or the state in general?
Well, we have another issue here too. Our roadways, our infrastructure are old.
Sure.
And the truck traffic that would come through really has a significant impact on our economics. We don't have the police power, we don't have the firepower to address any type of a spill or a drill. And so while we were looking at economics, we also have to look at the economics of our city as opposed to just job creation.
Yeah, and I also am curious, you guys are getting a lot of, or today at least, you're getting attention for this move, and you in 2010 had a state Senate run, if I'm not mistaken, and a challenge against Senator DeFrancisco. Is that something that you're still thinking about maybe in the future for 2012?
Well, that's down the road. Right now I'm concentrating on the Syracuse Common Council.
Right, because you do have the ability to run again.
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Yeah, my term will end after the election for this year. It's a 4-year term, and then in the city of Syracuse we would be what they call termed out.
Right, correct. Term limits, something that some places have in New York and some places do not, much to the chagrin of some people. So I want to thank you very much, Majority Leader. It's been good to see you, and I appreciate you making time for us. It's good of you to do so.
Great. Thanks for the opportunity. Appreciate it.